down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you tuned in to what? The Savvy Radio Show. And I'm excited that you tuned in because I get to interview people that I don't know that actually super duper intrigue me. And I'm excited to introduce you guys to this real deal real estate investor in Chattanooga. His name is Ryan Faircloth. And, I don't get superly impressed. And I'm not just saying this to stroke my man here that's on the radio show. But, I randomly met Ryan through Thomas Morgan in Chattanooga, which is like my second favorite city next to Oklahoma City. And it's just a beautiful place with beautiful people. And I ran into this guy, and him and his beautiful wife, we had this random dinner, and I was just intrigued. And like, he has kids that are grown. He has this laid back attitude, and he's all into education and into being a better investor. But just not pretentious. I mean, well, not pretentious. Or whatever that word is. You know it. You get it. Anyway, so then I'm like, ran into this guy again in Chattanooga, and he's like, tells me that he's used to be an MMA fighter. I'm like, what the F? I'm like, now I really got to interview you. And then he owns a business called Junk Clean, and then he just now is franchising this. He's an entrepreneur, and you would never know when you hang out with this guy. He's just like way too cool for school. Ryan, you just like, I'm all intense, and you're yeah. By the way, I just hired an attorney, and I'm franchising, and it's not easy. But I'm like, so, dude, how did you? I mean, you're all over the map. MMA, mixed martial arts, entrepreneur, real estate, dad. And then you're just authentic too. You're like, I wish I would have spent more time at home because I was all giddy about this MMA. And I'm not even an MMA fighter or watcher. And so let's just start from ground one. And then on top of that, you're like really smooth on Facebook, always interesting posts of history and just intriguing of just bringing people together through education. I don't know if you're just some genius or it's just some random thing, or are you just a history buff? We're going to find out here on the show today. So, Ryan, is it cool to ask you how old you are? Is that
43?
So you're so young, and how old are your kids?
21 and 22.
So, and then how long have you been married?
22 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 22 years.
And what's your wife's name?
Melissa.
And how does she keep up with you? Like, what is she?
That's a good question. How does she? You might want to ask her that, because I don't know if she does really. She keeps me straight. She keeps me in check.
Yeah, she's always smiling. I noticed that. Like, does she work in the business? Is she a part of the?
Yeah, she's a real estate broker.
She is? Okay.
She has her own firm. She started back in the recession when everybody told her she was crazy and nuts to start. She started 2009. So she's been in it 10 years. But yeah, she's the one that keeps me in check, keeps me straight. Because I'm the guy that just goes after everything that I want. I see it, I want it. I go after it. I'm a hard worker. I hustle every day. And I bring my stuff to her and I have her look at it. If she says yes, then I know it's a good deal. If she says no, I know it's a bad deal.
Cool. So just the continuity of just a relationship and a team, and especially you're married to her too. So in her vested interest for you not. But so are you the risk taker in the relationship?
Yes, I'm very much a risk taker. I don't know. I just like taking risk. I mean, I don't like taking monetary risk, but it kind of bases back to the MMA fighting thing. You step in a cage with these other guys and it's just you and him. So yeah, you're risking it all. And so I guess that's the way I was developed and grounded, that, hey, you just got to get in the cage and you're going to take some blows in life. You're going to take them, but you got to give it back, So yeah, I take risk.
Awesome. So have you always been in business as a child? I mean, this
Yes.
as
Yeah.
entrepreneurism, and then we'll get into the MMA thing. I think that's fascinating to
Okay.
me. But
Yeah.
so like what's your youngest roots of remembering of your hustle? Like
I don't know if I should say this
money.
on here, but I will tell you. My first sales were in school, and it was liquor and bubble gum. So, so
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I sold liquor to kids and bubble gum because my kind of a hard story on it. Short version: my grandmother dated this guy who was an alcoholic. So I got to, and I seen him rage at night. So I started stealing his liquor, and I was like, well, instead of pouring it down the drain, I'll just sell it. And
Opportunity.
yeah, so there's a little opportunity there, which is probably retarded on my part. But yeah, I bottled that stuff up in little baby food jars because my brother was born. My mom used to clean out these baby food jars. So I'd take the baby food jars and fill them up with liquor and take it to school and sell it.
Wow.
And,
so you're like a pseudo drug dealer.
yeah. I mean, that was wrong of me, but I mean, yeah, that's the truth.
No, that's good. It's authentic. So what was the driving force behind it? Like just that you wanted things that you,
I don't know. It was just, when I went to school, they didn't teach you about money. And it's kind of like Robert Kiyosaki deal. They don't teach you about money. And it's like, my parents are out here hustling every day trying to make a living. And I'm like, why are you teaching me how to do this stuff? I don't want to learn about this over here, whatever they're trying to teach me. Why aren't they? So I just started learning on my own, how to double money, how to make, percentages, whatever. And at another age, when I started making keychains, and my dad would visit my aunt in Atlanta. She had a bar down there. So I'd take these keychains and sell them to drunk people in the bar for $10 a piece. And they were ugly keychains. The only reason why they bought them was because I was a cute little kid selling keychains.
Yeah. And so you learn humility real fast at a young age.
Yeah.
How old were you around that time?
About 11 years old.
Cool. Yeah. I started working when I was 11 as well.
Yeah.
So how about your parents? What's their background? Were they blue collar? What industry were they in?
Yeah. They, when they moved here to Chattanooga, we were pretty much poor. My dad started building his furniture, his handmade furniture. And I remember driving or riding with him he would pedal it on the weekends. He'd make it during the week, pedal it on the weekends. We'd drive to the foot of Signal Mountain over here. And I remember the first trip we made, my dad said, I got just enough gas to get there. Mm-hmm. If we don't sell anything, we can't get back. And so we pedaled up, went over there, drove over there, sold a piece of furniture, and actually sold almost the whole truckload. And he was like, he's got something here. So he started building more and more. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, his brother's getting involved. Next thing you know, Southern Living a magazine is interviewing him. Then this guy out of Atlanta comes up and just starts buying everything he has, and it just starts spiraling from there. And next thing you know, George Lucas is buying furniture for his Skywalker Ranch. Ralph Lauren's buying furniture. So it was a really, really good, unique time in life.
Yeah, and apparently is your dad still doing it? You guys still have furniture in your family now?
Yeah, my brother, he still does it. But my dad has got into these RV, these Spartan Royal Mansions.
That's awesome.
And he has like about 4 or 5 different Spartans. Then he has some other ones, some little Shastas. And now the Royal Mansions, people, they look at these things in his yard and they're like, they can't understand what he's doing. But these things restored go for about 100 to 300 grand a piece. So yeah, he's in the RV, this vintage RV.
So cool. There's a Extreme RV. I don't know if you've ever seen that TV show.
Yeah, he was on that show.
Oh, awesome. I just found that show on Hulu, which I'm not a Hulu person, but I've actually, my son is madly in love with RVs. So
yeah.
So let's dial into that time. I think there's a defining moment for you where as a child, your dad's like, we need to sell something to go get back home.
Right. Yeah.
Was that like your driving force? Is that like, I mean, that's hugeful, riskful. So this guy, out of just need to provide for the family, your dad,
Yep.
and took all this huge risk and threw it on the table. What do you remember any more of that? Like,
no, because I was so young, I didn't understand what was really happening in life.
so it was just like natural.
Yeah, it was just I was just there. I would help him trim the wood, do certain. I would help him sand. I'd do things like that. So I just didn't really understand the end game. I mean, my dad, he's the real entrepreneur because he went. Everybody told him he was crazy, he was stupid for building this stuff.
Mm.
He did it, and he sold it, and it just spiraled all over the country.
It's awesome.
I mean, going in some of the finest homes in America, it would just, it just boomed from there.
Well, it's so cool because you brought that up when we hung out again. You're like, yeah, you need to get like furniture for your log cabin. I'm like,
yeah,
like, what else can this guy do? It's hysterical.
Well, I did that for like 20 years.
Yeah, and that log cabin thing didn't really turn out the way I wanted to turn out, but
right.
That's another episode. You probably know. I saw you comment on Thomas's thing. So entrepreneur has been in your family blood, and so you grew up working with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that, did you have any other, just the hustle on the side at school with the bubble gum and keychains? And so, which is like the title of this is like, I wrote it down, like bubble gum and keychains to real estate investors is hot and sexy. Through high school, you're just making ends meet. What was next in your life? Like, was it right into MMA out of high school? And how'd you get turned on to that? Or did you have like always two things going, like your side hustle or just making money to survival?
No, actually, I opened up a store when I was 18 years old in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. My dad, we were talking, because he was doing the furniture stuff and I worked for the company, and he kept talking about Blowing Rock, North Carolina. So I was like, I'm going to drive up there and find a store. Back then we didn't have GPS and all that. We had to use a road atlas. So I went down to the truck stop and bought me a map. Road atlas, got my girlfriend and said, hey, let's ride up North Carolina. We drove up to Blowing Rock. I found a room. I remember the guy's name because he's such a unique guy. This guy, it was the Blue Ridge Motel. His name was Mr. Coffee. Rented a room from him. Stayed there the next day. I found a store. It wasn't on Main Street. It was on the other street. I was 18 years old. I called the guy, the number, went back to the hotel room, called the number, asked if I could meet him. I want to rent this store. He come over there. I had long hair back then. I'm bald now. Had long hair back then. Had a ponytail. So I go and meet this guy. And he's looking at me like, there's no way you can rent this store. He's just giving me that look, And I was like, I want it. I think it was $1,000 a month. I think,
wow.
Or $800, something like that. And I said, I want it. He said, you serious? I said, yeah, I'd like to have this store. He said, okay. So he brought some papers out. I signed them. I wrote him a check for the deposit and all that. And he was looking at me like, can't believe what's going on. This young 18-year-old with long hair is wanting this store. So I go back to the hotel room and call my dad. I say, hey, Dad, I said, I rented a store up here in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. He's like, where you at? I said, I'm in North Carolina. He said, what have you done? Just ask me. He couldn't believe I was up there. So that kind of started my entrepreneur at that age, like understanding money. And that first year was hard. And then because we were off the main strip, but we started selling a lot of furniture. So the next year, a store came available on the main strip, on Main Street, right in the middle. So we rented that and moved over there. And we started doing $50,000 a month plus in that store. And I was 19 then. And then the following year, we had the opportunity to buy that whole strip, which was 4 stores in that one little section. And the guy wanted like $43,000 a store. So there's 4 stores. He wanted to sell them all. And we were thinking, man, this is too much money. We don't know how to do this. But that kind of sparked the real estate side of me because I started thinking about it and really thinking about it, but I couldn't figure out how to buy it. I don't know. I had a mental block of how to get that money to buy that property. But now that property per store is worth like around $200,000 per store.
So my burning question is, like, how did you have no fear? Like, I mean, you're 18, like, people I think that are listening, they want to be like you. They want to live their dream. They want to, take risks. but people don't. I don't know if you, I mean, obviously you're smart enough, you know that people, you're like, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. My life's changed. Just says go buy assets. It's so simple. Just go do it. But no one wants to do it, right? But what is your driving force, like the balls to just skip up out of town, not even tell your dad, who has an intricate part in your business model.
Yeah.
And you're just all balls out. Like what sustained like me today? I don't even want to tell you mine, but like I have nothing to lose in my mind. Like what's the worst thing that could happen? What is going through your mind?
Well, you say that what's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen, you could die. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. I'm going to die one day. So why not just kick butt while I'm here? And the thing that drove me at that age is I bought this book, and I'm keeping this non-political. I bought this book when I was 18 called The Art of the Deal, Donald Trump. So, you know, I bought that book, I read that book, and I was like, okay, I want to be like Donald Trump. Yeah, non-political. I want to be like Donald Trump.
I used to be like that too.
Back then.
Don't be mad. I mean, I read all of his books. He was very inspirational to me. I mean, where he's at today is frustrating, but yes.
Yeah, yeah. But so yeah, I read that book and it got me. It's like, okay, I want to be like Donald Trump. So I started going off in my own way, and I did some things on the side that failed. And you know, and now I'm at where I'm at today. But I just, don't have any fear. I mean, fear to me is like the negative of the universe. You have fear, and you know, it's just, to me, fear is the devil. Just, you know, I don't deal with that bull crap.
So that the time of that strip center, the 4 units, they were trying to sell it. Was that your first introduction to like maybe possibly owning real estate?
Yes.
And
yeah.
Okay, so that's when you like the aha moment. It's like, okay, this is possible. You're paying $1,000 a month, $40,000 a unit is like 40 months.
Yeah.
So it was like simplistic thinking, and wow, one day maybe I could own this. That's kind of what ran through your mind, and that was
that's what ran through my mind. Yeah, I mean, but we just couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't figure it out. I had a blockage of how to get that money. Because I've never. Yeah, it was a large purchase. I mean, to me, it was. I just couldn't figure it out. You didn't have the networks like you have today on Facebook, all these Facebook groups and stuff like that. You didn't have all that. You didn't have the people behind you, backing you, saying, hey, if you find something, we'll go in together with it. We'll JB on it, whatever you want to do. You just didn't have all that stuff. So growing up poor, I didn't have any friends that would back me on that. So it's, I was like, man, I really like to buy this, but I don't know how. I didn't have the education to buy it. The school didn't teach me how to buy anything.
Or it was taboo to be rich, or you're not smart enough, or you can't do it. You don't have the know-how. All right. So you're around 19, 20 years old. So I'm assuming MMA, you got to be healthy, young, strong. How did that happen? And how did you turn into that? And how old were you when you got introduced to MMA? And
I was 22 or 23. Okay. I got married at 21. We had our son when I was 21. I got married at 21. Okay. I had long hair and slim at 21 when I got married. Okay. So as soon as I got married, I started losing my hair.
It's all Melissa's fault.
Yeah. No, my dad told me, he said, you know what happens now, son, when you get married? I said, what? He said, you start losing your hair. And I was like, you're full of crap. Well, sure enough, I started losing my hair. And that's something I can't change. But I started losing my hair, started getting fat, like, usually people do when they get married, they blow up. So I was 175 pounds when I got married. And then about 2 years later, I'm 225. And I'm like, all right, I've got to change something. I don't like lifting weights. I don't like going to the gym. And a buddy of mine said, hey, man, you need to go try this place out. They do this martial arts thing. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go try it. Went and tried it, got choked out, armbarred, neck cranked, all in the same night. And I left and I was like, man, I freaking love it. I love it, and so I signed up right away.
And so you just started going to gym, and it was more of an athleticism, but then you took it to the next level, right? I mean, because whatever you do, I can tell in your personality, you want to be the best.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to be the best. I used to go home so angry, driving home thinking because this dude armbarred me or this guy choked me. How did he choke me? How did I get myself in that bad situation? But we're training partners, so we're all learning from each other. And I would go home frustrated thinking about this stuff. So I kept training. I go 3 or 4 times a week. And this is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing. The guy I was under, he was under the great Joe Louis. And then the Alan Goes of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, who's under the Gracie. So yeah, that grew, and I started losing weight. And I'm like, okay, this is working. I started losing weight. I got down to 185 pounds, or 190 pounds, I'm sorry. So the weight came off. I was learning this skill. So yeah, it was awesome. I just really loved it. It was great. And then I got talked into fighting though. I never wanted to fight. And then my trainer, he's like, hey, I got you a fight coming up here, and it was, Clarksville, Tennessee. He's like, I got you a fight coming up, and I was like, really don't want to fight. And he's like, well, he said, you're going to. I said, okay. So that's the start of that was like 5 years into my training. So that was the start of me fighting.
Cool. And then how long did you pursue this MMA stuff? Like, was it like a job? Was it competition? Was it a side thing?
No, it was just to keep in shape and keep my mind sharp. And the fighting was just a byproduct of it. Okay, so I've learned these skills. So how let me test myself and make sure I really know what I'm doing. So to test yourself, you jump in a cage. Or a ring, whoever. Up in Clarksville, it was a ring. So, yeah, I mean, I choked a guy out in the first round and within like a minute and something. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. It works. This guy was like hammering after me. He actually took me down, and then I took his back and Monteleon choked him.
Wow. What was that? What did that feel like? Like you felt successful that you won, or is that what kept it driving?
It felt great, yeah, to actually know that it was a boost of confidence and not cockiness, because cockiness and confidence are two totally different things. I started to be very confident in myself, which propelled me further in life. I really think if you're an entrepreneur, you need to do MMA. That's just my opinion. Not to fight, but to train. That's just my opinion.
Well, training is getting your butt whooped too, though.
Yeah, but you're going to get your butt whipped in life out here anyway. In entrepreneurship, it's not like eat cake every day. You go through some troubles that you got to learn how to deal with. You're going to get your butt kicked. You're going to get hit in the mouth out here in real estate or whatever it is you're doing in life. So if you learn how to deal with that in that environment, then those blows don't hurt that bad.
So the mental game and the physical game, you try to bring together.
Yes.
And it's funny that you're like, I think no, I'm not into MMA. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. No, I mean, no.
No, but I agree though. I mean, I think it makes, when you look at athletes in general, you think that they're not smart, entrepreneurial. And then now in the new 2019, I see a lot more athletes being a lot more, entrepreneurial.
Yes.
So they have something to fall back on. And I think that the grit and the strength of enduring regular, intense training to be a pro athlete, you just apply that same principle to their business life. And I try to adapt that in my own world where how could I be wealthy, but I'm fat? And so I just started implementing the same scenarios, like the same level of discipline when I do my due diligence on a property. I need to do the same due diligence in what I'm eating. What am I eating? What am I consuming and why? Where's this going?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, I believe, health is the key to life. If you don't have health, you don't have nothing, I believe.
Yeah, true. I mean, and it's sad that, we don't realize that until we're 40. I think a lot of people just go through life and we'll take care of it later. Just like financing, like I want this item now. I'm not going to worry about the consequence later. I mean, that's just Western civilization. So, okay. So you did this MMA thing. How long are you still doing MMA now? Or,
no, I stopped back in 2012. My last fight was in 2011. And that was the only fight that I had that went 3 rounds. So yeah, I stopped training in 2012. I need to get back in the gym because I just I don't want to fight anymore. I just want to train for the exercise.
Right. And so during this whole process, I mean, you mentioned that you did a lot of this and it affected you. Like, I missed a lot. You mentioned this, and I you know, and I'm not trying to make this. I just want to know what your rationale and thinking. You're like, I spent a lot of time in MMA and I missed out on things. What were you talking about there? And
yeah, well, my kids
concept.
Yeah, because my kids, I was 21, young and stupid. And then I had my son, and then 1 year later we had my daughter. And then I was getting fat, of course. Then I started MMA. So I was going, I'd work all day and then go train at the gym 3 or 4 times, 4 nights a week. So I was missing ball games. I was missing gymnastics. If I could go back, I would still do the MMA, but not like I did it. I would just maybe go twice a week. I would go to more ball games and more gymnastics because that time is now lost. I can never get that time back. Your kids are only kids for so many years, and then they're adults for the rest of their life. So if I could go back, I would, I would spend more time with my kids because now my kids are grown up. They're out of the house. But I do have a grandson now, so he's over all the time. So I'm playing with him like every day. But yeah, my kids are grown. I wish I could get that time back, which I can't. I wish I could get it back. And because, there was one time I had a nightmare. I call it a nightmare because I woke up and I had tears in my eyes. I had a dream that I was chasing my son through the house. He was about 5 years old, had that cotton blonde hair, and I was chasing through the house and he's laughing, and I woke up and I realized that time is gone. It's just totally gone. No more time of that.
You said something that was really powerful. You said that and I think it's worth repeating, that they're a child only a short amount of time, but they're adult forever. Say that again. That was really.
Yeah, they're kids for only so many years of their life, and then once they turn they're adult for the rest of their life. And when they get to doing their thing, they don't want to be around mom and dad. They're doing their thing, just like we are when we grew up and got out of the house. We're doing our thing,
right?
And then, so yeah, my kids are out of the house. I wish they were younger again. They're only kids for, and then they're children. You only have so many years of toddlers. You only have so many years of the whatever age. Then they're teenagers. Then they're telling you to piss off, and then they're moving out of the house. So
precious.
Spend that time with them. Because you only have so many years of that time.
Well said. I think we need a reminder of that. I know that my daughter started kindergarten this year, and it's just not the same. I mean, just one thing that I noticed is that she's just physically tired. And before she was vibrant and playing and intense and, maybe naps and not naps, but when she comes home at 3:00, she's spent. And it's just like that window of the jolly fun time is dwindling. It's only like maybe an hour to 2 hours a day now, maybe.
Yeah.
Because she's got things to do and she wants to when we need to teach her to be independent. All right. So now your kids are out of the house, which is crazy. You're a grandfather and you're so young. And your wife's busy being a realtor broker, right? Or whatever, just a realtor. Yes. Is she a broker too?
She's a broker, yes.
Okay. And then you own a junk company. So let's talk about that, like called junkclean.us, right? Is that the company?
Junkclean.us.
And if you're and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, if you're thinking about a franchise, and we may have found that franchise for you, it's junkclean.us. Ryan here decided to do a franchise. Just take another challenge on your life. Tell us about that. Tell us about Junk Clean, how it started, what's your goals, where's this going, and all that other
stuff. I started that back in 2015.
So just 4 years ago.
Yeah, so it's just not too long ago. And it just started going so rapidly. I was like, crap, I've really got something here. So it just kept going. And I started buying dumpsters. I found a used truck. I bought some dumpsters. Just started really growing it. And, I had a lot of problems with growth, as of course everybody does. And I'm like, we need to expand. And I'm trying to think, how do I expand this? And something had come on a podcast or somewhere. I read something, I can't remember. The quickest way to expand is to franchise. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to franchise. So I started looking into franchising, how to do that and how to get a lawyer and all this stuff. And I'm going through some things. And all of a sudden, I guess because the phones listen to you nowadays, an ad popped up on how to franchise your company. I'm like, okay, so this is like, all right. So I clicked it, started reading some more. I found a guy down in Atlanta, and I called him up. We had a little meeting there, and he actually came up to my office up in Chattanooga, and we started talking. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's franchise it. So we did. And franchising, you know, when you don't know anything about franchising is a little frustrating. But I'm like, you know, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to do it. Let's do it. So we went over all the paperwork. There is a lot of paperwork. There's like 100 pages of paperwork, and you've got to have all your I's dotted, your T's crossed, the percentage is correct. So there was a lot of reviews going back and forth. Okay, we got to change this. We got to change this, because once that draft is finalized, it's a done deal. If you need something else changed, it's going to cost more money to get that thing changed.
Well, let's dial back a little bit. How in the world did you get into, you know, MMA, real estate, you know, moonshine? How does all that happen? And then you're in the freaking junk business.
So, okay, I was in a furniture business at first.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that. So I left that company in 2011. And just to be honest with everybody, I went into like a 3-year depression. And man, I was depressed. I mean, I didn't know what to do in life because some things had happened in my life, and it was just not good. I mean, I don't know if your listeners want to hear this or not, but you know, I almost got a divorce after being married, and I told her, she threw, you know, I'm just going to tell this story because I think I need to be real with everybody. Crap happens in your life.
I think we all have those feelings and thoughts. I mean, marriage is
it's a roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I got thrown divorce papers on my bed, and I'm like, what's this? She said, it's divorce papers. I'm tired. I'm done. You know, because it was just me. It wasn't her. It was me. I was depressed, and I wasn't doing what a man should be doing. And I said, all right. So I sat down, I prayed, and I was like, I've got to fix me. Something's wrong with me, and I've got to fix me. So I started breaking myself down, analyzing everything I was doing wrong, analyzing everything I was doing right, and figuring this stuff out, praying, trying to get my crap together. And I was like, I'm not going to lose my family over my own ignorance. So I rebuilt myself by studying, by reading books, anything I could read that was educational. I was reading, building myself up, and plus praying. And then all of a sudden, I just woke up one day and I told Melissa, I was like, hey, babe, I'm going to start hauling junk. She's like, okay, whatever. Just do something. And so I put an ad on Craigslist. I got a call within like 15 minutes. And I remember the old lady that called me. She's like, wanting to trade me a broken refrigerator to help her move into an apartment. I was like, crap, this ain't going to work. And so I was like, all right. And I got another call 15 minutes later, and it was a real job. I was like, all right, I got something. And I started getting more calls. So I'm like, hey, man, this is working, you know. So I started looking, and I'm like, you know, there's a need for dumpsters because people wanted dumpsters where they could clean out their parents' house. And in our real estate, when we had some real estate rentals, people would trash them out, you know. So you want to leave a dumpster, try and get a dumpster to clean it out. I'm like, I need to get a dumpster. So that's where that happened. On the
I love that story. And I love your, you know, not giving up on your marriage. I mean, you know, today in 2019, I've seen people, even in my own age group, they're married the second time and they're getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Like, and I just, because again, there's no education about relationships and marriage. You know, we're driven people, we have hungers and needs, and we really don't know how to go about getting them. And so we're learning as we go. I wrote down this quote, man. I definitely going to give you credit for this. It says, I'm not losing my family over my ignorance. Bro, right. That's big time. You should be writing a book. Speaking of books, and I know you will write a book. Well, you know, what books kind of carried you through that dark time? You
know, one that really sticks out to me, and I quoted it on one of your post the other day on Facebook was the Dalai Lama, The Art of Happiness.
Cool.
You know, the 3 R's: respect for yourself, respect for others, and responsibility for your own actions. That really stuck to me at that time. So, you know,
I haven't, you know, I'm into quotes. And so I saw that quote, the Dalai Lama quote, it made sense. And then I saw you comment that and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, this dude, is he a Buddhist? I'm like, cool.
Yeah, no, I just
like dropped all this stuff on there. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like, all right.
Well, I was searching for happiness. So I seen that book.
It makes sense
bookstore,
now.
and I was like, The Art of Happiness. All right, cool. Let's read.
Remember, you're this most bizarre person that I know to date. You're all over the place. Bubblegum. Balls out. I mean, 18 years old. I mean, dude, like, and you're just like nonchalant about it. And I don't know if it's humbleness or just, this is just what it is. I'm like, you're extremely rare in society where, you know, I spoke at this college campus yesterday to a bunch of retired people, and a bunch of doctors got up there and started talking about stuff. And I'm like, this is just brainwashing people. We're going to school to spend all this money to think that we're going to get some job. And it's just a system of destruction in my mind.
Yeah, it is my mind too, because I think people, if they look inside themselves deep enough, they can find something in themselves that will propel them further in life. I just think we're muted, or like all this information is coming in and people don't know what the hell they want to do anymore. It's like, okay, I got to go to school. I got to get good grades. I got to get a job. I got to pick my favorite beer to drink on the weekend because I'm so freaking miserable. I'm going to have to drink myself away just to not think about the next week.
Yeah, I mean, you need to read MJ DeMarco's book, Millionaire Fastlane. Have you read that?
Hey, check this out. No, that's unscripted.
Yeah, I got unscripted. I mean,
I've got that book, and
right there.
I ordered that one just the other day.
You know what's so crazy is, like, I was on, you know, Facebook, which is not a good thing. And, you know, somebody I saw on there, they're getting their doctorate. And I'm thinking, and I met a teacher the other day that's like, I'm going to get my master's. And I'm like, we're just losing perspective. You know, we're spending $30,000, $40,000 to get in more debt, to get a designation, which is not a negative thing, in hopes of making more money. And if you go back all the way down to the Dalai Lama deal, it's what? Respect and responsibility of who you are. Like, getting an extra degree is not going to solve your problems. There's an issue that you need to figure out. Either cut expenses or make more income. And making more income, to go into debt to make more income, it needs to be, you know, an asset debt, not. Right. I guess yourself is an asset. I mean, we could spend 3 hours on this conversation, but it's morbid in my mind. So what drives you now? I mean, I know you're all into this, and it's junkclean.us, ladies and gentlemen. So the cool thing, it'd be really interesting to franchise under you because you're motivated. You know, it's your first franchise. Yes. You're not trying to take advantage of people and just clock in percentages. You really want your business to succeed for others and provide an income for them and their family. I'm assuming. Oh yeah. I mean, you're creating generational wealth for people. You know, what expectations should someone think about if they really, you know, they're in Oklahoma City, they're in Ohio, they're in a market that, you know, that could use a dumpster business. What would you say to that person?
Well, here's the thing. Everybody has junk. Everybody's got it. I mean, today people don't fix stuff. They just throw it away and go buy something new. That's the kind of generation we live in. So everybody has junk, and it goes hand in hand with real estate. So like if you're in the real estate investing business, this goes hand in hand because everybody has a trash out. Everybody has a remodel. Everybody has a roof, you know, so dumpsters go right with the business of real estate. I mean, we have dumpsters sitting all around Chattanooga, and they're either cleaning out a garage, cleaning out a house they inherited, or doing a roof or remodel. That's just what it is. So it goes hand in hand with real estate. So if you wanted to start this, we do not charge percentage-based royalty fees. We do a flat rate system to where the more money you make, the more money you keep. I'm not going to, take a percentage of what you make, because if you make more, that's freaking awesome, but you get to keep it. So we do a flat rate yearly royalty.
So, I mean, this is exciting. When you were talking about it goes hand in hand with real estate, I was thinking, okay, so these are like little rental properties all over the city that are just like, I don't know if you do this, but I do this. I rent appliances. I make about $2,000 a month renting appliances from $35 to $50 a piece. And it's one of my favorite things that I do. Every tenant that moves in, we suggest we don't provide a refrigerator. If you want a refrigerator, we would recommend you buying your own. You can buy it used or whatever is better. Or we can rent you one for $35 or $50. And then if you don't have a washer and dryer, we would rent you those month to month. Man, it is a very lucrative business. And I think the same for dumpsters, right? I mean, you got the hard costs on the front end, right? This metal container. You do have to have, I guess, some storage eventually. Are they always out and about? I mean, is there a way?
No, they're always out. I actually we're booked up through Thursday or Friday this week, so we turn them over every week. So yeah, they're always out. I never want to have one on a lot. If one's on a lot, it's usually going out within a day or two. So on my lot right now is just a truck. You want to flip them every 5 and 7 days. We do small dumpster rentals. We do 10-yard, 15-yard, and 20 cubic yard dumpster rentals. That's the most popular sizes for what we do. We don't want to get into construction sites where they keep them for 30 days or 60 days because we want to keep them turning every 5 and 7 days. People are
making money. So if you left it on the job site for 1 month and you're making $300, that's $300 a month. Great. And you got costs, expenses, gasoline, trash. But then if you're flipping it every 5 days, dude, three times that, what's that? 6 times. That takes that $300 asset to $1,800 a month per gross per unit. All right. So let's give somebody out there in the world is interested in this franchise. Give us some perspective. Like, what's the startup cost? What does it cost to own this thing? And
startup cost, it's fairly, I'm going to start you out. The right truck is an international MV. Now, those trucks outfitted are $115,000. So that's your biggest expense right there is that truck. But that truck will go half a million to 1 million miles, depending on how you take care of it, your wear and tear, making sure you keep all the fluids changed and checked and greased and all that stuff. If you really baby that thing, you can get over 500,000 miles. So that's the true asset right there. And then you have your dumpsters. Your dumpsters, they're so much a piece. The startup cost, you're looking at around $200K. And that's depending on if you already have a lot or if you do not have a lot. If you have a business, like I've got a guy coming here Thursday from Birmingham looking into one of our franchises, and he's already got a lot because he has a street sweeping company. So this is something that he can just add right to his existing company. He already has drivers. He already has insurance, all that stuff. So it depends on where you're at. If you're just a beginner, it's probably going to cost you more than $200K due to insurance, finding a lot, things of that nature. So it can be anywhere from $200 to $250K. We can probably get it down, depending on your knowledge, down to about 180, 190. But you're looking around that ballpark to start a franchise.
So, burning question, do you have to have a special driver's license?
No, because our trucks are under the 25,900 or 26,000 pounds. So you do not have to have a CDLs because we use single axle international trucks with the smaller dumpsters. So no CDLs.
And pretty much anyone that can drive like a F-150 can drive one of these things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, when we do training here in Chattanooga, so if someone was to purchase one, you would come here to Chattanooga. We'd train you on the truck. Because when I first started, I almost flipped a dumpster off a truck. And you don't want to do that because of the angles and the grades of
you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So I had that thing teetering on the back corner. And I'm like, holy shit, this thing's fixing to go. And it was full. And I'm like, oh, man. So, yeah, I had to, it took me about 30 minutes to work my way out of that. But, yeah, there's angles you got to watch out for when you're dropping a dumpster, steep grades. If it's in a concrete driveway or asphalt driveway, you want to put boards underneath the wheels and front runners just to protect the driveway. And customer service is a huge key. Customer service has built us here in Chattanooga over everybody else because we answer the phones.
Mm-hmm.
We get right back with you. We know what's coming in. We know what's going out. We're friendly. We have flat rate pricing. I don't understand this other pricing these other people have. They have like haul fee, dump fee, pickup fee, and deposit. I'm like, screw that. I'm like, that would piss me off just calling them. You know, I won't want to deal with that.
Confuse.
Yeah, it confuse you. So you don't know what you're paying for. So when they call us, we have a flat fee, $275 for a 10, $325 for a 15, $375 for a 20. That's what you get. Now, if you have mattresses, those are extra because of the landfill. They charge us more for mattresses. I don't know why, but they do. And tires.
Exciting.
I'm
excited for you, man. I mean, this is the second time we've had this conversation, and I'm like, I don't know if you knew this, but Thomas told me about, like, he never told me who you were,
Mm-hmm.
but he brought up the dumpster thing once before, and you know, I was like, and I actually looked into it, and there's a friend locally in Oklahoma City that actually bought a dumpster company and was looking for financing, and I actually was looking to loan him money on this business, but he was asking too much comparable to the depreciated asset, meaning that it was a much older truck, and and of course, when we're doing a high risk loan like that, I'm looking at 25% of value just in case the dude defaults, and I own a dumpster business that I have no idea what to do in trying to unload that. But I mean, it's very intriguing, and I'm like, when you're talking, I'm like, okay, so let me just, in my mind, okay, so 200,000, not impossible. I know some people look at the number and they think it's possible, but they're, like you said earlier, you can get JV, you can get people to help you fund the deal. And I know that's possible. I know at least 10 people in my mind that would give me at least $20,000 that I could fund this, okay, and be a partner with them. Mm-hmm. And so the money for some people is an issue. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'd loan you $20,000 and I'd be invested in your business in junkclean.us. Okay. So there's your first one of 19 more people in Oklahoma City. So let's get together. The second thing is, that's the first thing. Okay. I got the money on lockdown. Not a problem. The second thing is I need a yard, right? I need somewhere where I can park this vehicle. I don't think that's impossible. I do have some lots at some random places. I do know someone. I knew there's a place that a lot of people drop their dumpsters right by the trash place where they lease a lot. So I don't think that's impossible. So my only other variable is, marketing. You got social media. That wouldn't be a problem. And you got Facebook groups. So I got that on lockdown. Got that. My only question is, Ryan, to sell me this franchise is, who the freak is going to drive this thing, and what's my risk and liability? I mean, is insurance? What's the insurance cost? Like, I can put a pay, and how much should I pay a driver, first of all, and how does it work? Like, and how many units do I need to sustain this one driver, or do I need two drivers? Walk me through that process.
Okay, you need one driver, 20 dumpsters, one truck. So we start you out with 20 dumpsters, different sizes. The driver is the key because he's the face of the company, basically.
Okay.
So when he's got to have, of course, good driving record, don't do drugs, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. When he's dropping dumpsters off, customers are actually coming out talking to him. So he's the face. The guy I've got right now, he is excellent. He is top notch. Everybody's his friend. We build relationships. We just don't drop off a dumpster and say, hey, here you go, fill it up. We'll pick it up later.
Call us when you're ready. Yeah. Yeah.
We talk to them. They tell us their situations. They tell us what's going on. They might have had a death. They might have this. So if we know they had a death, then when Jeff gets out of the truck, he talks to them. He's like, because people want to talk about their stuff. So yeah, the cost of that, you got to have a driver. What do you pay them? I don't know what your market is out there. But you want to first train them, and then, at least $20 an hour. Okay. And then the insurance, you got insurance. You got insurance on the truck. You got limited liability insurance. We have $1 million coverage. And that's part of the training. No cell phones in the truck. Of course, they use the maps, but no on your phone in the truck. Okay. And we have a software that we use that all the tickets are entered in. And then the next day when my driver gets up, he hits the app on his phone, and it loads all the tickets on his phone, and he can go pick up, delivery, pick up, delivery, pick up, delivery, pick up, delivery. So it shows right in a row where he's going all through the day. And he next day he gets up, he hits the app on his phone, it's already loaded.
So this individual, so your business is based on this driver, and how many hours is he working a day or a week? And are they?
It depends. You know, sometimes it's for one thing, the transfer stations and landfills around here close at 3:30, so he's always done by 3:30.
That's cool.
So it depends. You know, some days he gets done at noon or 1 o'clock. Some days he gets done right around 3:34. Yeah, it just depends on the route, what we've got going on, things like that.
Does he take that truck home with him?
No, he parks it back at the lot here.
Okay, cool. So you kind of see him coming and going.
Oh yeah.
Like on an average, what's 20 dumpsters? How many hours am I looking at? So, because I'm a mathematical person, so I'm trying to, run the numbers here.
Well, he's working a good 40 hours a week.
Okay, and he's working Saturday and Sunday sometimes.
No, Saturdays, we only run Saturdays if it's a special request from a customer.
Okay.
I like my guys to have, weekend off. Nothing's open on Sunday to dump, so we can't run Sunday. And on Saturday also, the transfer stations or landfill, they close at noon. So if we do run on Saturday, we can't run it till afternoon.
Yeah, I think that's like that in Oklahoma. It's like closes at noon. Well, Ryan, I got all my questions answered. Is there anything else that I've left out? And if you can't think of anything, what does it look like for you in the next? I can't wait to hear your next endeavor or junk clean.
I tell you what, check back with me in a year.
Okay.
And, I guarantee you I've got something else built up.
And what's your goals on junk clean? Like worldwide, I'm assuming?
No, not worldwide, just USA. Because of due to trademark stuff. It's very funny about trademark. You have to do everything all over. If you go outside the country, you have to do it all over again.
Cool.
So just right now I'm concentrating on the Southeast, but we'll go to Oklahoma, Texas. I've had people call me from Dallas, Texas.
Cool.
Talking about
I'm excited. So hopefully this podcast will reach somebody. If you're interested at all, I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah. I'm interested, and we have the key guy with integrity, and he's not far, and I love that city, Chattanooga, so it'd be great to fly there just to train, and I'm interested. I don't think there's that much competition here in Oklahoma City. There's only like one player. There's a ton of like nationwide overpriced dumpsters, but there's only one, I think, reasonable one that a lot of people use, like kind of a mom and pop kind of, and they've been bought out. But there's room for the small man that could do a great delivery and have a good return.
Yeah, and one thing we do in our franchise is we do all the marketing for you.
Cool.
You don't have to worry about that.
Well, I'm excited. I hope someone will call me, and if not, and how do people get a hold of you, Ryan? Let's get that out of the way.
423-432-4888.
Okay.
Or website junkclean.us.
Junkclean.us.
Yep.
All right, Ryan, it was a pleasure to get more details of your fascinating life. And definitely I will be calling you in a year just to check in and see how cool is it that you're just starting a brand new franchise, and just to have a matrix to see a year later I have this much and this is how much I've learned. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, man.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
What is the Savvy Boot Camp? Are you struggling to get to the next level as a business owner, as an investor? Do you want to multiply your income? Sign up for the Savvy Boot Camp, a strategic and supercharged one-night and one-day event designed to shortcut your learning process and propel you forward. Just value, no upsells, and an intimate setting to build relationships with like-minded investors. We will be covering how personality profiling can make you a millionaire, outsourcing and the nitty-gritty of maximizing your property management, scaling your business through systems and automation, technology hacks you should be using every day, and how to raise private money. Go to www.savvybootcamp.com now to register or to find out more.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.